The studio lights of The View blazed down on the glossy stage, throwing sharp reflections off the bright table where the hosts sat waiting. The audience buzzed with anticipation, a living hum that pulsed through the air. There was something electric about the mornings when a Hollywood legend came to visit. And today, that legend was Danny DeVito. Camera operators lined up, adjusting their lenses. Makeup artists darted in for last-minute touch-ups. Joy Behar was in rare form, leaning back in her chair, grinning like she'd already won an argument that hadn't even started. She'd been cracking jokes about DeVito all morning with the crew, and everyone knew she planned to push him a little during the interview. That was Joy's brand, sharp, teasing, sometimes crossing the line but always flashing that grin that made people laugh before they had time to be offended. The floor manager raised his fingers. 3, 2, 1. "Ladies and gentlemen," Whoopi Goldberg's warm voice boomed, "please welcome one of Hollywood's funniest men, Danny DeVito." Applause erupted instantly. The crowd shot to their feet as Danny strutted onto the set with that unmistakable confidence, hands waving, grin wide, the picture of a man who'd seen it all and come out laughing. He gave Whoopi a quick hug, fist-bumped Sarah Haynes, and waved to Sonny Hostin before lowering himself into the empty seat beside Joy. "Danny!" Joy started, already smirking. "You've been in show business longer than most people in this room have been alive. Do you ever get tired of playing the short, funny guy?" Danny laughed, that raspy chuckle rolling out of him like gravel. "Nah, Joy. I've made a good living being short and funny. Besides, people love to laugh, and being close to the ground, I can see the humor before it hits everyone else." The audience roared, clapping and hooting. Danny gave a little bow, eyes sparkling with mischief. But Joy wasn't done. "Well, I mean," she said, leaning forward with mock seriousness, "you ever get jealous of the taller guys? You know, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, those types. I mean, you must have had moments where you wished you could just reach the top shelf without asking for help." The audience chuckled, but there was an undercurrent to the laughter, a touch of awkwardness that made Whoopi shift in her chair. Danny kept smiling, but his eyes narrowed ever so slightly. "Jealous?" he repeated. "Of Brad Pitt? Nah, he's got the jawline, I've got the jokes. We can't all be statues, Joy." That got another laugh, but Joy pressed on. "Come on, Danny, be honest. Don't you ever wish you could be more of a leading man type? Taller, slimmer, you know, maybe even a little more refined." The energy in the room changed like a snap of static. The laughter thinned. Even the camera operators seemed to hesitate, unsure if they should zoom in or hold their shot. Whoopi's eyes flicked to Joy with a silent, "You're pushing it." Danny leaned back, arms folding slowly across his chest. His expression shifted, not angry but serious, like someone who'd just decided it was time to stop playing along. "You know, Joy," he said, voice calm but edged with something real, "I've been doing this for 50 years. I've directed movies. I've won awards. I've worked with some of the greatest people this business has ever seen. And after all that, the first thing you want to talk about is my height." The audience went silent. The red light on the camera blinked steadily. Joy's smile wavered, but she tried to keep the humor alive. "Oh, come on, Danny. I'm just teasing. You know I adore you." Danny didn't break eye contact. "I know you're teasing," he said, voice still level. "But here's the thing. You make jokes like that long enough, people stop hearing the tease and start believing the message. And for me, the message has always been, you can't fit the Hollywood mold unless you're tall, handsome, and look good on a magazine cover." He leaned forward now, elbows on the table, and the audience leaned with him. "But here's the truth," he said. "I didn't survive in this business because I look like George Clooney. I survived because I've got heart guts and timing, and because I can make people laugh without tearing anyone down." A ripple of applause started, hesitant at first, then growing until the studio echoed with clapping. Joy looked around, blinking at the audience's reaction, her smirk gone. Whoopi gave a tiny approving nod like she'd just watched someone win a chess match in 3 moves. Danny continued, his voice rising slightly over the applause. "You know, Joy, People ask me all the time if I wish I was taller or if I ever got tired of the jokes. But I don't. I'm proud of every inch of me, because I didn't have to change who I am to succeed. I didn't have to look down on anyone, literally or figuratively, to make it in Hollywood. Now the applause was thunderous. The audience was on their feet again, cheering not out of politeness, but out of pure, genuine approval. Joy laughed awkwardly, trying to play it off. Okay, I get it. You're proud. Don't bite my head off, Danny. He grinned again, but the smile had bite this time. Nah, Joy, I'm not biting. I'm just reminding you. People remember words, especially when they come from folks with microphones. Maybe next time, aim for funny instead of cheap. Backstage, the chaos was immediate. Producers and assistants darted through narrow hallways, phones pressed to their ears, whispering frantically about damage control and trending hashtags. The moment Danny DeVito had snapped back at Joy Behar was already making waves online. Within minutes, clips of the exchange had been clipped, subtitled, and uploaded with titles like "Danny DeVito puts Joy Behar in her place," and "The View explodes live on air." In his dressing room, Danny sat in a cushy armchair, completely unfazed. A steaming mug of black coffee rested in his hand as he scrolled lazily through his phone. His assistant, a younger woman named Carla, hovered nearby, trying not to laugh as she read out the social media feed. "Danny, you're #1 trending on X. Someone just tweeted a photo of you saying, 'He may be short, but he stood tall today.'" Danny chuckled, his gravelly laugh echoing off the walls. "Well, that's not bad for a Tuesday morning. Maybe I'll make the headlines before lunch." Carla grinned. "They're calling it the DeVito detonation." "Perfect," Danny said, smirking. "It has a nice ring to it. Makes me sound dangerous." There was a soft knock at the door before it opened. Joy Behar stood there, still in her crimson blazer, her smile polite but uneasy. She looked smaller than she had on stage, not physically, but emotionally, as if the bright studio lights that had fueled her confidence had been switched off. "Hey, Danny," she said carefully. "Can I come in?" Danny didn't look surprised. He gestured toward the couch. "Sure thing, Joy. Grab a seat." "You want some coffee?" Joy shook her head as she sat. "No, thanks. I just wanted to talk. Talk or smooth things over for the PR department." Danny teased lightly, his tone neither cruel nor dismissive. "Because I'm guessing the suits are having a collective panic attack right now." Joy laughed softly, a nervous chuckle. "You're not wrong. They're already drafting statements about how it was just friendly banter gone wrong." Danny took a slow sip of his coffee. "Yeah, that's usually how it goes. They'll spin it, clip it, and sell it. But we both know what really happened out there." Joy sighed. "I didn't mean for it to come off like that. You know me. I poke, I prod, I stir the pot. It's my job. Keeps the show lively." "I get it," Danny said, setting the mug down. "But there's a difference between stirring the pot and spilling it. You can roast me all day. I can take it. But when you start talking like my worth comes down to a few inches, that's when you stop being funny." Joy blinked, visibly taken aback by his calm tone. He wasn't angry anymore. He was just disappointed. That somehow stung worse. "I didn't think of it like that," she admitted quietly. "I guess I was going for an easy laugh." Danny leaned forward, elbows resting on his knees. "That's the thing, Joy. Easy laughs are the worst kind. You're better than that. You've been doing this forever. You know, timing, tone, empathy. But you went for the old joke everyone's heard 1,000 times. You forgot that some people out there are watching you to see if it's okay to laugh at someone instead of with them." Joy looked down at her hands. "You think I embarrassed you?" Danny smiled faintly. "No, you can't embarrass me. I've been naked on film, screamed at penguins, and got drunk with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm bulletproof at this point." That got a small laugh out of her. Danny continued softer now. "But I think you embarrassed yourself a little. Not because you meant to, but because you're smarter than that, and it didn't come across that way." Joy looked up, meeting his eyes. There was no malice in his face, only honesty. "You know," she said, "I've been doing this show for decades. You sit in that chair long enough, and you start thinking you can say anything. But maybe sometimes I forget people aren't just characters to bounce jokes off. They've got real pride, Dan.